Hi, Dave Ertl here, Senior Employment Lawyer and founder of Ertl Lawyers. In this video, I'm going to answer some of the most frequently asked questions that we get about the record of employment, including, what's it for? When do you get it? What happens if the employer doesn't provide you with one? And what if something on the ROE is incorrect? I'm also going to discuss Block 16, and that's where the employer lists the reason for issuing the ROE in the first place, and whether that reason could mess with your ability to get EI. Here we go. Service Canada uses the information on the record of employment to determine whether a person who has experienced an interruption in earnings, such as with a termination, is eligible to receive EI benefits, what the benefit amount will be, and how long the person is eligible to receive those benefits. This depends on whether you get a paper copy or an electronic version. If your employer issues the record of employment electronically, then it should be made available to you 5 days after your pay period in which your termination occurs. And that's if your pay period is weekly, bi-weekly, or semi-monthly. If your pay period is monthly, which is a little uncommon, then it is the earlier of 5 days after your pay period or 15 days after your termination, whichever is earlier. If your employer still uses paper copies, then you must get the ROE within 5 days of your termination. Who else sees it? Nobody. Just Service Canada and you. No future employer will ever see it. Sometimes employers don't issue the record of employment on time, and if this happens, call or email your employer and demand it. And if they don't respond to you, go to the Government of Canada website. Look for a form called Request for Record of Employment. It has a form number called INS 3166. Download it. Fill it out and mail or deliver it to Service Canada. If you otherwise have a lawyer working for you, he or she will also put pressure on your employer to issue the record of employment. If you notice that something's incorrect on your record of employment, contact your ex-employer and ask them to fix it. If you have a lawyer working for you, have them contact your ex-employer. It's quite simple for an employer to issue an amended record of employment. If your ex-employer doesn't fix it, speak with Service Canada about it. Block 16 is the space where the employer puts the reason for issuing the ROE in the first place. Now, there are letter codes that an employer can put in that block. For example, Code A is shortage of work. Code B is strike or lockout. Code E is quit. Code F is maternity. Code G is retirement. But for dismissal or termination, there's only one code, and it is the letter M. And that's kind of unfortunate, and here's why. A dismissal can be without cause, in which case you should be able to get EI if you have enough insurable hours. But a dismissal can also be with cause, where the employer believes you've engaged in some type of misconduct, and in that case you aren't entitled to EI. But since letter M is the only letter for dismissal, Service Canada doesn't know whether you were terminated with or without cause. What an employer ought to do is to type in or near box 16 the words without cause or with cause. Or alternatively, choose the code K, which stands for other, and then write an explanation in block 18. So, if you only see the letter M on your record of employment, don't panic, but you will probably have to have a discussion with Service Canada to explain the reason for your termination. You can give your side of the story to a Service Canada officer. They will ultimately make the decision whether you are entitled to EI or not. In our experience, unless you were terminated for some very serious misconduct, you should be able to get EI. And those are some of the most frequent questions we get about the record of employment. Once again, I'm Dave Ertl, Senior Employment Lawyer and founder of Ertl Lawyers. If you've been terminated or have another employment issue, give us a call. We offer a free consultation and fair and flexible billing. Our help can make all the difference.